Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank. Busey, your dream, our promise. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette, and joining me now are Andrea Marwa and Melissa Martin, and they're with Illinois Hands and Voices. So welcome.
Thank you.
I love that we're going to talk about this, and I'm just going to point out your lovely necklace right off the top, which has your agency logo on it. So
Correct.
Love that branding, love that branding. We're going to start with you, Andrea. Tell us a little bit about Illinois Hands and Voices.
Okay, well, Hands and Voices is a nonprofit organization. We are fully voluntary. We have 14 board members, all volunteers. 50% or more needs to be parents of children who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Okay.
So our main focus is to provide support to families who have children who are deaf and hard of hearing. What happens? You know, 95% of children born to, deaf children born to parents, those parents are hearing. So those parents are lost and they really don't know where to go. So we are there to be that leading force for them, to help them through their journey, to let them know it's going to be okay in the end.
Yeah, that's a fascinating statistic. I'm not sure we all necessarily think about that. How did it get started?
Well, we were started here in Illinois in 2004, but it was started 20 years ago in Colorado by 3 moms who were just tired of the methodology wars mostly. So in the deaf community, it's a big war about how should a child who is deaf or hard of hearing communicate. So one of the biggest advantages of our organization is we don't put any precedence on that. It doesn't matter to us how you communicate with your child. It doesn't matter if you're going to change how you communicate with your child down the road. If your child has a hearing loss of any kind, they're welcome into our world. Into our community.
That's lovely. I mean, that's really an advocate position that you're playing, and a Switzerland advocate position that you're playing is, because there's no one right way for anything,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Now, I know you have a program called Guide by Your Side, right? That's what it's called. So, Melissa, tell us a little bit about that.
Of course. Guide by Your Side is actually, as far as we know, one of the only programs in Illinois that provides personal and emotional support to families who have kids who are deaf and hard of hearing. And how it works is we train our guide members to, each month they have a training call to stay up to date on resources and information that's out there. And they are then matched with families that are referred to us that might need resources or just to make a connection and kind of get them through this part of their journey. So we have on our guide, we have some deaf guides, we have Spanish-speaking guides, we have guides who have kids that have other needs. So we match them with the families that are most appropriate, and they support each other as they are on their journey.
Okay. Now, you talk a little bit about being on the journey. So people come to you at different stages with their children. Right. How does that work?
Yeah, sometimes we find out about them. So there's universal newborn hearing screening, so every baby is screened in the hospital. Sometimes they find out right away that, wow, there's this organization there, and we have them from the very beginning, and they are very strong forces out there because of that. Sometimes somebody's having a problem with their school district and they're not getting the services that their child needs, and they see us as advocates and they contact us, and we kind of walk them through the process and what their child has the right to have and how they can go about asking that.
Okay. So, I mean, lots of different ways to get involved on that.
Correct.
And so talk a little bit, if you would, about some of the events that you have, because I know that's an important, you were sort of stressing the point of also a community. I mean, there's a person by your side kind of helping you with that journey, but it also sounds like you're trying to create a sense of community there, right?
Correct.
Yes. We host many events throughout the state of Illinois. We try to cover all age ranges and to reach out to as many people as possible. So through Guide by Your Side, we have family fun events or FEO events, and we also do some fundraising. So some of the things we've done in the past is we have a day at the pumpkin patch, or gymnastics day, or the fire station, and just kind of trying to get kids connected, as well as giving parents the opportunity to talk to other parents for a little bit about what they're going through, what they might need.
Right.
And we have some fundraising events that we do. We do a family fun walk, which this year will actually be a 5K, a chipped 5K walk run that we're putting on in April that we're really excited about. And we also do a silent auction every other year.
Okay.
So we've got lots of different events out there where families can just come out, kids can see other kids that are like them, and families can kind of touch base and just connect and hopefully find somebody that can help them along.
More often than not, children who are deaf and hard of hearing, it's only 3% of the population. So more often than not, they're the only child with a hearing loss at their entire school, unless they are placed in a deaf, hard of hearing program. So a lot of times we want to make sure that these kids know that they're not alone, and that, you know, there are deaf adults out there that are successful, and we're gonna expose them to them, and we're gonna expose them to other children who are just like they are.
Yeah,
so that's a big part of it.
Andrea, you're very passionate about this, I can tell. So tell me how you got involved with the organization.
By being one of those parents who had a child born, and she actually was born before newborn hearing screening was mandated, so she passed that.
Okay.
So we found out when she was about 2.5 that she had a hearing loss and that she was going to lose all of her hearing progressively. So she did. She ended up losing it all by the time she was 7 years old, and she is now 16.
Okay.
And she is here at Naperville North High School doing very, very well.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And so that really, I mean, you've experienced, I'm sure, the whole journey, and your journey continues.
Correct.
But you've experienced a lot of that journey. What would you say to other parents as far as how that connection and the hands and voices, how has that been helpful?
It's just, you know, to know that you're not alone, and to have parents that get it. You know, when you first find out about the fact that your child has a hearing loss, and you're overwhelmed by it, your friends don't understand because they can't understand.
Right.
So what better place than to have other people who have gone through that exact same thing, to be able to talk to them and say, is this a kid thing or is this a deaf thing? I don't know. And it's just really great to, you know, have someone that's been in your shoes and be able to be familiar. You know?
Right.
So,
oh,
it is nice.
that's great. And I would think that kind of leads to that whole, you've got an event called Mom's Night Out, is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we call it Mom's Night In, and it actually is.
Okay,
yeah.
we're not going out, sorry.
Well, you're going out. You're going to an overnight retreat.
Okay.
We host it every year. We host one in central Illinois, close to Springfield, and one up here in the Naperville-Lisle area. It is open to any mom or caregiver who has a child who is deaf and hard of hearing, and it is a great time to come out and relax. There is lots of soul searching and networking and chocolate, and we like to pamper. We have guest speakers, and it's really just about making those connections, like we said, and helping moms find other moms that are going through things. And then we have a board and guest speakers that come in to provide a little bit of resource or education, and just to touch base and to kind of drive the whole message home that we are very unbiased and we are there to support you no matter what. And we have people that come back every year, and it's just a really great, relaxing, fun overnight for women. So.
What a great idea. It sounds wonderful.
It is.
Andrea, we're wrapping up, but as we do so, if you were to tell our viewers one thing about your organization to take away with them, what would it be?
We're the safe place. If you have a child who is deaf or hard of hearing, or you know a family and they seem to be struggling, send them our way. That's what we're there for. We're the open embrace waiting for them. It doesn't matter what method, what kind of communication they're going to use. They're our family and they're welcome.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you. I wish you all the best of luck this year. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you.
If you would like to learn more about Illinois Hands and Voices, I'd like you to please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break for a few short messages. Don't go away. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.